Money shapes nearly every daily choice in the United States, from rent and healthcare to how companies hire, expand, and compete. So it's no surprise more Americans are exploring finance as a career path. If the goal is meaningful work with clear impact, upward mobility, and skills that stay valuable across industries, finance consistently checks those boxes in the US market. This field blends analysis, technology, and people skills, and it offers entry ramps, whether the background is accounting, economics, data, or even psychology and communications. Think of finance not as one job, but as the system that moves capital through the American economy. Corporate teams decide how to fund projects and measure returns. Banks help companies raise money and navigate mergers. Wealth and asset managers oversee retirement plans for U.S. households and institutions. Risk and treasury functions protect cash flow from interest rate moves or market swings. Personal financial planners help families translate paychecks into budgets, emergency funds, college savings, and retirement income. That variety creates room for different strengths: number-driven modeling, client storytelling, operational problem-solving, or product building with data and code. Compensation gets attention because entry roles are often competitive relative to other office jobs in the US, and pay commonly scales with responsibility and results. Total compensation can include a base salary, annual bonus, and occasionally long-term incentives. As mandates grow, larger portfolios, bigger clients, higher stakes projects, pay typically follows. This linkage between outcomes and rewards is part of why ambitious US graduates and career changers keep finance on their shortlist. The work is national and global at once. Deals and portfolios touch New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Austin, Boston, and beyond, but also London, Singapore, and Toronto. US professionals routinely collaborate across time zones with legal, tax, and regulatory teams, and that cross-border exposure can accelerate learning. For Americans who want mobility, changing cities, industries, or focus areas, the skills tend to transfer. Daily practice is a training ground for decision-making under uncertainty. Professionals read financial statements, build scenarios, stress-test budgets, and weigh trade-offs. Cash today versus growth tomorrow. Risk taken versus risk hedged. Those habits travel well across US business functions: startup ops, consulting, product, corporate strategy, and public policy. The muscle you build is the discipline to frame a problem, price the options, and choose where the next dollar does the most good. Technology is rewriting the playbook in the US market. Payments ride instant rails, underwriting and fraud detection lean on machine learning, and new rails for custody and settlement are emerging. Product managers blend user experience with financial logic. Data analysts and engineers turn raw feeds into portfolio and risk insight. Automation removes repetitive steps, so analysts spend more time interpreting what the numbers mean. If working with Python, SQL, BI dashboards, APIs, or cloud tools sounds appealing, that is increasingly a core route into American finance roles. Relationships still move outcomes. Proposals win on trust, clarity, and delivery. US teams coordinate with clients, auditors, attorneys, rating agencies, and technology partners. Mentorship is common. Junior staff draft analyses, sit in on client calls, and improve through detailed feedback. Clear writing and calm presenting, especially when stakes are high, are career accelerators, translating a complex model into a 2-minute story a client can act on is often the difference between a good technician and a go-to advisor. There are trade-offs Americans should weigh with eyes open. Market hours, quarter-end cycles, budget seasons, and deal timelines can stretch the day. Accuracy matters because mistakes can be costly. Competition for selective seats is real. Resilience and continuous upskilling are part of the job description. The question isn't whether the field ever gets intense. It does, but whether the pace, learning curve, and compensation align with personal goals and lifestyle. Ethics and responsibility sit at the center in the U.S. trust. Is the industry's core currency. Past crises showed the cost of weak controls and misaligned incentives, so institutions emphasized transparency, suitability, and conflict management. At the same time, demand for sustainable investing has grown as U.S. clients ask how environmental, social, and governance risks shape long-term returns. That shift creates meaningful work aligning capital with stewardship through portfolio construction, engagement with companies, and improved disclosure. It helps to picture a few common U.S. roles. A financial analyst builds models, tracks what truly moves results, and converts findings into memos leadership can use. An investment banker advises on raising capital or selling a business, coordinates due diligence, and helps executives weigh price, structure, and timing. A financial planner sits with households, organizes cash flow and taxes, maps retirement income, and aligns portfolios with risk tolerance. A risk manager maps exposures, from rate moves and credit cycles to liquidity and counterparties, and designs limits and hedges to keep outcomes inside policy. Accountants and controllers make sure reports reflect economic reality, which is the floor for sound decisions across U.S. companies and nonprofits. Certain skills raise the ceiling in the American market. Accounting fluency and spreadsheet modeling are table stakes. Data literacy, SQL, Python, and dashboarding keeps gaining value because most workflows now run on structured data. Soft skills count as much as hard ones. Active listening, structured thinking, concise writing, and poise when a plan changes. Attention to detail and intellectual honesty build credibility faster than cleverness. The most trusted voices are the ones who surface risks early, correct errors, and put client outcomes first. Most U.S. careers begin with a bachelor's in finance, accounting, economics, data, math, or related fields. From there, targeted credentials can signal depth. Investment tracks often view the CFA program as a mark of commitment. Personal advisory work may emphasize the CFP. Internal audit and accounting paths may prioritize CPA. Risk or quant roles may value FRM or data analytics certifications. Short courses in product management, data engineering, or AI/ML can help candidates sit at the intersection of tech and finance that many American employers now prize. Several forces are reshaping U.S. finance. Embedded finance and instant payments raise the bar for speed and user experience. AI is improving surveillance, personalization, underwriting, and portfolio construction, while also raising governance expectations. More asset owners integrate long-horizon risks into mandates and reporting. Remote and hybrid work remain common. Teams coordinate across cities using shared docs and asynchronous updates. Regulation evolves as products and rails change, and professionals who can track policy and translate it into operating decisions create outsized value. Looking ahead, automation will keep shrinking routine tasks, which raises the premium on synthesis and client guidance. New products, from tokenized assets to real-time settlement, will alter operating playbooks. The best-positioned Americans will keep curiosity high and skills current, deepen quantitative ability, refine communication, and understand how incentives and rules shape behavior in markets and organizations. If this path resonates, sample the work the U.S. way. Join a campus finance or investing club. Take valuation, accounting, and data electives. Practice by building a simple discounted cash flow model or backtesting a portfolio. Seek feedback from mentors. Ask for red lines on a model or a slide deck and iterate. Build career capital through internships, case competitions, volunteer board treasurer roles, or personal projects like a research blog or dashboard. Start where learning compounds, financial analysis, risk or product, and adjust as interests sharpen. Finance in America isn't just spreadsheets or ticking stock quotes. It is a platform for solving real problems with money as the medium, funding a city's infrastructure, helping a family retire with dignity, steering a company through volatility, or building tools that make financial services fairer and faster. If the mix of analysis, technology, teamwork, and tangible outcomes appeals, this field offers many routes to grow across regions, sectors, and stages of the US economy. Explore broadly, keep learning, and let honest curiosity about how value is created guide the next step.